What is up, everybody? You are checking out the PG. What is up, everybody? What is up? You are checking out the PGH Chris Show here on PGH Chris TV. I am PGH Chris, and today we got some interesting things to talk about. I mean, we got some World Baseball Classic previews. I'm going to preview a little bit of AEW Dynamite, which I'll get into more details and how you can catch me after the show right here. Well, not right here, but on the Sports Jedi Network, like you guys usually know. But before we get into that, guys, welcome. Thank you guys for being with me here on a Wednesday night. I want to give a shout out to, like I mentioned, the Sports Jedi Network. Tonight, I will be live immediately following AEW Dynamite on Sports Jedi Network, all socials, YouTube, X, Instagram, all that stuff. I will be there live to give you guys my full reactions to AEW Dynamite tonight. You can check me out there every Wednesday immediately following the show. And then you guys know Dude Wipes is the official sponsor of the Sports Jedi Network. Make sure you go check out Dude Wipes. Go in this. I don't remember off the top of my head all the codes and stuff like that. But you guys can check out the Sports Jedi Network, socials and all that stuff, and then that will tell you guys everything you need to know. But Blackout Coffee, also Blackout Coffee, Sports Jedi Network. That I know. It's use Rumble 20, and then use the Sports Jedi code, Sports Jedi 20, save 20% off. And then mine, you guys know the PGH Chris Show is always here, sponsored by G Fuel Energy. G Fuel, the official sponsor of the PGH Chris Show. Let's hear one time from our sponsor before we get into the show. All right, quick time out in today's video. I want to talk to you guys about our sponsor, G Fuel Energy. If you're anything like me, you're locked in for late nights, breaking down games, watching wrestling, gaming, or just grinding content and coffee isn't cutting it anymore, this is where G Fuel comes in. No sugar, no crash, just clean energy that keeps you focused on pregame all the way through overtime. Whether I'm live, recording, or locked in the slate of games, G Fuel keeps me going. They've got a ridiculous lineup of flavors, collaborations, and a whole other group of well-known content creators a part of the movement. So you're definitely going to find one that hits. This is legit energy for creators, gamers, and sports fans who don't slow down. Use promo code PGHChris when you check out. It saves you money and supports the channel, which you guys know I appreciate more than ever. Again, that's G Fuel Energy /PGHChris, or use my promo code PGHChris for 20% off checkout. Now, let's get back into the video. Let's preview here a little bit of AEW Dynamite since I'm on the subject of Dynamite and tonight's show. Again, you guys can check me out here on the not here, but on the Sports Jedi Network after the show's over for my official reaction post show. I do the post show there every Wednesday. Obviously, we have our show, Weekly Wrestling, every Saturday, as well as the watch alongs Monday through Fridays. Anytime there's wrestling, come over to the Sports Jedi Network and we have all of it covered. But tonight, I will be giving you guys a quick preview here of AEW Dynamite and what I think should happen. Now, I'm going to show you guys the card. This is the card. AEW Trios Champion Hangman will be in action, which I hate that they label him that. I don't know why they don't just call him the number one contender for the WWE Champion or the AEW Championship, excuse me, because that is essentially what he is. But we're gonna see some of that. I wonder who he's gonna go against, and that should be one to kind of figure out. The Brawling Birds versus the Inspiration. This be the Inspiration's first televised match on AEW. I know that they made their debut over a house show, House Rules, whatever it was called, over an AEW Australia weekend. I think it was a Sunday. One of the rare house shows they do. So we'll see how they look here in AEW. Obviously, me and Kev have watched them a lot in TNA. The Brawling Birds is the team of Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter, which they've been hot. They've been on a streak. But again, do you want booking logically? Would you want your new tag team coming into the company being the Inspiration to lose? But again, you're trying to build up this tag team in the Brawling Birds. So that's kind of interesting that these four ladies are going to be in a tag team match together, and I'm curious to see how the outcome goes. But that's kind of iffy. I think we got that match a little bit too soon. And then we got the worst wrestler in the world, Orange Cassidy, teaming up with Darby Allin, which I don't know why Darby is teaming up with that fucking clown. I'm not happy about that. I'll be honest, but Darby Allin's teaming up with Orange Cassidy to take on the team of Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd. Now, we know that makes sense, right? There's a lot of animosity between those four. Obviously, we know Gabe Kidd and Orange Cassidy had their match on Dynamite last week. Ended with Clark Connors coming in and Darby Allin for the save. So we knew this tag team match was coming. And look, I would like to see Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd get the win. I think Orange Cassidy is going to do something stupid to where Darby might take the pin, which I don't want that to happen. But I think if you do have Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd win, feels like you're building a new tag team, essentially. And I don't know the current contract statuses of Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. I don't know if they're officially with AEW. Somebody could fact check me on that in the comments. But I'm curious to see how this results because I don't think Darby and Orange Cassidy are a tag team. So we'll see what that goes. We got Jon Moxley versus Hechicero, which why? We already know that's going to start the show. I'm predicting that right here for you guys. That's going to start the show. Hechicero versus Jon Moxley. And it's not even but it's like, hey, at least it's not an eliminators match. They're not labeling that. It's just a simple match between these two. So it's just good. And now we get to the two parts of the card where I like one and I don't like the other. But I will say, we're getting both the AEW World Championship and the Women's World Championship defended on this card. So I actually think this makes for a must-watch Dynamite. But this is my complaint, and I'll start with my complaint is with the AEW World Championship. I said this with Kevin on Sports Jedi Network on Weekly Wrestling. When CM Punk and Finn Balor are going against each other, they have CM Punk and Roman have this match build up. They have it ready to go for WrestleMania, and in the middle of that, you just have a match for the championship, and we know that that opponent is not going to win. I don't know, and I'm going to keep the same energy for this. I do not know why MJF needs to defend his world title against Kevin Knight. What has Kevin Knight done to earn a world championship match? First off, he just went on and talked about how he won in an AEW world title match and he got it. So I don't see why he's getting it. And we're so close to Revolution. Him and Hangman are literally the trios tag team champions together alongside Mike Speedball Bailey. I don't know why. If I'm Hangman, I'm like, why is my teammate trying to go after the one thing that I'm trying to? Again, I've said this for a long time. They should have never been the trios tag team champions. They were only crowned the trios tag team champions because Roy Keese, formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs in AEW, was leaving the company. So we know how that worked out. We know how, that situation played out. That's why they're the trios tag team champions. This match makes no sense. Tekla versus Thunder Rosa. They've been building this match for a little bit. I think I am curious. I don't think Thunder Rosa gets the win, but they are building kind of Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa, I think, because, Chris Statlander is all about don't challenge Tekla, she's dangerous. My thing is Statlander, I feel like is going to cause Thunder Rosa the match because I think Statlander is jealous that Thunder Rosa is getting a championship and Statlander wants another shot to get to beat Tekla, rightfully so. So I don't know how that's gonna play out, but I do think that Tekla retains. But I think Statlander is gonna get involved, and we'll see what's gonna go from there. But yes, tonight you guys can check me out on the Sports Jedi Network for the official AEW Dynamite review. When we come back here from a quick break from the sponsor, let's talk about the Baseball World Classic. Before we talk about what I really want to talk about, and that's Aaron Rodgers' comments on the Pat McAfee show. We're going to preview the World Baseball Classic. This is some of my favorite baseball. I think the World Baseball Classic is insanely fun to watch. I think the World Baseball Classic, at least in 2023, it was some of the funnest baseball I've ever seen. And we're going to talk about this. So, this is the schedule of the World Baseball Classic coming up. This, throughout the tournament, but oh, excuse me. Sorry, I don't have it put it up. Thank you. Thank you to the producer. Pull it up. But we have the World Baseball Classic here. This is the schedule. Obviously, you guys know who I will be cheering for. That flag in the back of my setup right here. You guys already know. But this is the schedule. United States, they're in Pool C. They got Mexico, Colombia, and Canada. I don't remember who I'm gonna try to find the official schedule because I do know that the World Baseball Classic, they're kind of done doing the qualifying stages and all that stuff. So we're really gonna pick it up here. So let's show you guys this, and we're gonna go back to me right now. This is the schedule for the next couple of, now let me make this just a tiny bit smaller here so you guys can see the date. Tomorrow, Thursday, we got Korea, and is this Chinese Taipei taking on, or Korea versus Chinese Taipei. So I don't know who the hell this is, I'm gonna be honest. They no, my god, I don't even want to pronounce that, but they're playing Korea. And then they have back-to-back games. Is this looking like right here? And then they take on Australia. So that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. But I don't think nobody's gonna really watch those games. These are the games that people wanna watch, right? Japan, people want to watch Japan. So they're playing. This is all Friday. Friday is really the big day for the World Baseball Classic. Cuba versus Panama. That should be a good one. I'm intrigued about that one. Venezuela versus the Netherlands. I think Venezuela gets the win on there, even though, and I'm gonna talk about some of this stuff. They don't have Jose Altuve, and this talks about with Puerto Rico as well. My team, Mexico takes on the Great Britain at 1 o'clock, which 1 o'clock through 8 o'clock are going to be the games where most people are interested in because Mexico and Great Britain's a good game. People want to watch Puerto Rico. I think people want to watch the Dominican Republic as well as the United States. And these games are good. Like this is a really good first games for these teams. Mexico and Great Britain, followed by Colombia or Puerto Rico at Colombia, which they're in San Juan. So it's kind of funny that Puerto Rico in this game's the away team. Nicaragua versus the Dominican Republic, and the United States versus Brazil. Look, I want to know because there's some other teams, right? There's Canada, they're still in it. I think Israel is still in it. Italy is in it still. There's some I feel like there's one more team. Is Israel the team that I'm missing? Yes, Israel is the team that I'm missing. Missing. So those are the teams that are, set to compete. But let's stick to Friday night. Let's stick to tomorrow. I'm excited for the World Baseball Classic to start because I do think in 2023 that was some of the funnest baseball I got to watch. Now, obviously, you guys can tell by the hat. Shit, I named myself. My whole internet brand is PGH. I'm Pittsburgh Sports. Hell, I'm from Pittsburgh. I'm a Pirates fan. But we all know how bad the Pirates are. We know how bad the Bob Nutting and the ownership is over there. I'm not even going to get into any of that shit. But the point is, watching the MLB does not excite me anymore. I don't like watching the playoffs. I watch the playoffs and the Philadelphia Phillies are in it, and that's because I live primarily in a city that's all Philadelphia 76ers fans Philadelphia Phillies fans, and I like watching them choke in the playoffs. It gives me great joy. And I do go to Citizens Bank Park when the Pirates are there to cover at least one game a year for PGH Chris TV. But my thing is, like, being a Pirates fan, it's not fun to watch baseball knowing that your team has no chance in hell of competing. Now, I'm a Steelers fan, I'm a Suns fan. I know my teams can compete. Ohio State for college, I know my teams will compete. For base and hockey, for the Penguins. But when it comes to the MLB and the Pirates, I have no fun. I have no interest in watching MLB, especially their games. So every 3 years that we do get the World Baseball Classic, it is fun. Now, I got to be that guy for a second, and I want you guys to just see me for a second before. I'll put the schedule back up because I want to talk about the weekend of the World Baseball Classic, not just tomorrow, or excuse me, Friday. It really starts tomorrow, but you guys get what I mean. This is why I'm a little disappointed in the World Baseball Classic this year. And I'm going to talk about Puerto Rico because that's the team that I'm going to root for. That's obviously my culture. That's where my parents are from. So I'm obviously going to be rooting for Team Puerto Rico. But I got to be honest, I'm not going to have the same fun I had watching Team Puerto Rico in 2023. Why? It's because we don't have a lot of our players. Francisco Lindor was named the captain of Team Puerto Rico, I believe, in the middle of last year. Francisco Lindor was named the captain for Team Puerto Rico. And he can't play. He can't play due to insurance stuff. Now, this is the same reason why not Javi Baez. Javi Baez, let me talk about him for a second. Because I want to be right when I talk about Lindor, because that's the more serious situation. Because I want to make sure I'm right. But while I'm getting the information about that, while my producer's getting the information about that, I want to talk about Javi Baez. He is, I believe, suspended from the World Baseball Classic because of a marijuana. He got tested positive for marijuana. Now, I'm not sure on how the marijuana rules are in the MLB. I assume they're pretty strict in baseball. I know they're pretty strict about steroids and all this other stuff, but they're very, very strict about marijuana. I could be wrong, I could be right, but we've seen in recent years, just with Fernando Tatis, that they take other performance enhancement drugs seriously. I know the NBA doesn't really care. I know the NFL seems to not care, but the MLB really seems to care. So in the World Baseball Classic, they said no. Javi Baez ain't playing, which is unfortunate. I think he does play. He played fairly well in the World Baseball Classic in 2023, and that's unfortunate. But let's talk about Francisco Lindor. And I believe this is the same for Carlos Correa. But this is what's happening. It's a different situation. I'm getting told it's a different situation. Okay. I have it here for you guys. So let's start with Francisco Lindor because he was named the captain, I believe, late last year, and I believe his injury during the regular MLB season is probably the reason why he's not playing. So this is the main reason. According to research here, what I got. Lindor was ruled ineligible to play because he couldn't obtain insurance coverage for the tournament. Players in the World Baseball Classic must have a special insurance policy that protects both them and their MLB teams in case they get injured while playing internationally. If a player gets hurt during the World Baseball Classic, the insurer guarantees their salary for the time they miss in the MLB season. If they're not insured, the team isn't obligated to pay them for missed games, which is a big deal given how large contracts could be. So why the fuck is Edwin Diaz playing in the World Baseball Classic this year? You know what? That is the reason why Team Puerto Rico is having these problems. That is why they're strict when it comes to Francisco Lindor. Because not only was Edwin Diaz a Met last year just like Lindor, but they're paying Lindor a fuck ton of money, and I know that the Mets are not going to let him go play in a tournament that essentially means nothing. To them, this means nothing. But you know what? To Francisco Lindor, this means everything. Why? Because he was named the captain late last year. He repped it all over his social media. He said it in 2023 that he wanted to be back in 2026 and win the World Baseball Classic and bring it to Puerto Rico. But instead, it looks like the Mets, the New York Mets, won't obtain that policy. Now, why do I think it's the Mets? Why am I saying the New York Mets? Because it says here they need a policy to protect both them and their MLB teams. So does Francisco Lindor, this is a genuine question. I don't know the answer. This is a genuine question. Does Francisco Lindor have to find this special insurance himself? I'm confused on that. Why does the MLB the players have to find the insurances and all that stuff for these players? Why can't the teams do that for them? Again, now could Edwin Diaz is no longer a Met, so I don't know what this thing's going. I don't know how that's playing out right now. But my point is that raised a lot of questions, and that for Team Puerto Rico and the league itself. And ever since that moment, look, it's not like Edwin Diaz got hurt playing. He got hurt fucking celebrating after they beat the Dominican Republic, because that is such a big deal for Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, that fucking baseball game. And it sucks. It sucks. Why insurers refuse the coverage? It says here insurance companies are being strict this year, and Lindor's recent right elbow cleanup procedure after the 2025 season was a red flag because of that medical history. He didn't pass the insurance vetting, so the policy wasn't offered to him for the tournament. Without that World Baseball Classic insurance, he's not eligible under the official rules to participate. That sucks. Because there was a report that Bad Bunny offered to pay for the insurance, and the league said no. If the Mets don't have to pay it, if the league doesn't have to pay it, and if most importantly, if Francisco Lindor is willing to pay that money out of his pocket, which he's probably not, but he's getting paid a lot of fucking money. So if he's willing to pay that contract, A, he should be allowed to participate. And B, if the Mets don't have to pay it, if the World Baseball Classic doesn't have to pay it, if the insurance companies, Lindor doesn't pay it, but Bad Bunny offered, why would you decline that? I just don't understand. Lindor wanted to play for Puerto Rico. The insurance situation made it impossible. And it's not a new unique situation. Some other high-profile pitchers have been denied coverage for this year, including Jose Altuve. So, excuse me, I needed that fucking water. So we'll see how this goes. But I said the Carlos Correa situation. Was that the same and was that different? It's a different situation because Francisco Lindor was blocked from the Baseball Classic due to insurance issues tied to medical concerns. Carlos Correa, on the other hand, has dealt with different circumstances in the past, notably medical evaluations affecting his MLB contracts, like his ankle issue impacted his deal with the Giants and the Mets. But that's separate from Lindor's insurance situation. I mean, it sucks. It sucks. Those are two guys that I really want to see play. It's unfortunate. I know Correa didn't play last year, 2023, because I believe he was expecting a kid or a child or something like that. So it's unfortunate. You know, I'm trying to see here. Bad Bunny offered for Correa. It wasn't approved by the MLB or Correa's agent. So Correa's agent, his own fucking agent, declined it. That's disappointing. That's disappointing. But yeah, same thing with him. Not the same situation, but they both can't get the medical insurance for the World Baseball Classic, so they're not allowed to participate for Team Puerto Rico, which is obviously a disappointment. It sucks, but we'll see what that happens with that. Now, let's talk about really what I want to talk about. Let's shift gears here because I think this is what everybody wants to talk about. Is the Aaron Rodgers situation. Shout out to G Fuel. Just wanted to put that across the screen for a second. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. Actually, you know what? We will hear from G Fuel one more time. This is G Fuel and the PGH Chris Show on PGH Chris TV. All right, quick timeout in today's video. I want to talk to you guys about our sponsor, G Fuel Energy. If you're anything like me, you're locked in for late nights, breaking down games, watching wrestling, gaming, or just grinding content and coffee isn't cutting it anymore, this is where G Fuel comes in. No sugar, no crash, just clean energy that keeps you focused on pregame all the way through overtime. Whether I'm live, recording, or locked in the slate of games, G Fuel keeps me going. They've got a ridiculous lineups of flavors, collaborations, and a whole other group of well-known content creators a part of the movement, so you're definitely going to find one that hits. This is legit energy for creators, gamers, and sports fans who don't slow down. Use promo code PGHChris when you check out. It saves you money and supports the channel, which you guys know I appreciate more than ever. Again, that's G Fuel Energy /PGHChris, or use my promo code PGHChris for 20% off checkout. Now, let's get back into the video. All right, guys. Last part of the program. This is what the main title of the video. So Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show today. And again, if you're listening to this, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Kick, Twitch, all my audio platforms, I appreciate you. Make sure to go hit that like button, subscribe, follow, share. See me tonight for Dynamite on the Sports Jedi Network. And give me a big ol' Indeed, indeed, indeed. I will be getting some more sound effects here on the stream deck, don't worry. Let's talk about it, right? Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show today. He said some things. Now, I'm going to give you the rundown before I talk about what I'm going to rant what I really want to rant about because I just can't take it anymore. Aaron Rodgers says he talked to Omar. He talked to Tomlin. You know, I'm going to play you a small, because I don't want to get copyrighted. This is on the McAfee show, but just listen.
You've had to have done some daydreaming about what it would be like to be back with Big Mike, I assume, or am I assuming incorrectly there?
Well, I mean, what are we sitting here? It's March 4th. Free agency starts in a week. Just been laying low. There's a lot of other things going on. I've talked to Mike. I've talked to Omar.
There we go. That's all I wanted to hear. That's all I wanted to show you guys. I want you guys to hear it for himself. So he talked to Mike McCarthy. Excuse me, not Mike Tomlin. Mike McCarthy. And he also talked about, I saw a clip where him and AJ Hawk said it straight up. And it was like, are you going back to Pittsburgh? And this is why Aaron Rodgers is going back to Pittsburgh. Let's just start the rant right there. I'm not even going to fucking break down what he said right now. I'm going to give you guys this. This is how I feel about Aaron Rodgers going on the Pat McAfee show. I think it's a waste of time. I think this is the same old bullshit that happened last year, and we're going to go through this again. Where Aaron Rodgers, I'm not being given a timeline. I'm not being given a deadline on where I need to make my choice. Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. And it makes it even worse that Mike McCarthy is the fucking head coach in Pittsburgh because he's not going to pressure this guy into doing nothing. Nothing! When they should be saying, look, motherfucker, you're 45, 43, whatever years old you are. We have the draft coming up. We didn't get a quarterback last year because of you. We have a quarterback, a national championship winning quarterback that won the national championship 2 years ago, sitting in our locker room. We had the 24th overall pick. We didn't get Jackson Dart. We didn't get Shador Sanders because of you last year. And we could possibly miss up on Ty Simpson or another possible quarterback, all because we have to wait on your decision to see if you want to play for us next year. And I am sick of it. And I don't know why you Steelers fans aren't either. I don't know why you Steelers fans aren't either. I get the vibe that a lot of Steelers fans are happy with this, or they don't care that this is going on. Wake up, people. Wake the fuck up. It is ridiculous that every single year we're stressing and we're wondering who our quarterback is going to be. Omar Khan, you've had 3-4 fucking years to go out and get us a quarterback, and you've done nothing. You've done nothing but hired washed-ass fucking Super Bowl winning quarterbacks that weren't good, and that were last time that they were in their prime was in the mid-2010s, and you think that just because of who they are in 2026, 2025, that they will come into Pittsburgh and all of a sudden we're winning our first playoff game in 10 years. That's not happening. And it's not happening this year. If we get this clown again, if we sit here and let this motherfucker dictate the outcome of our offseason. I'm not dealing with it this year. I'm not. I will come on here every single day if I have to and tell you guys how stupid the Pittsburgh Steelers organization is. What do you mean you haven't given him a timeline? He basically debunked Adam Schefter's original tweet or original report or whatever. The Steelers need to wake the fuck up. They need to wake the fuck up, know what they're doing, get a quarterback, and stop playing the games. I want to give a shout out to my guy, Aaron Loves Wrestling, here on the YouTube chat. My guy, Aaron, the Steelers should trade up in the draft and draft the Indiana quarterback Fernando Mendoza. Now, I like your idea. I don't know how possible that is. I do think Fernando Mendoza and the Las Vegas Raiders are pretty tight, especially with Tom Brady. I do think he's the number one overall pick. If this was a situation where a lot of the teams, especially the Raiders, didn't need a quarterback, and if we were just a little higher up on the draft, I could see this playing out. But because of where we are, I don't see that happening, unfortunately. But in the draft, something needs to happen, Aaron. I agree 100%. Look, whether it's a trade, whether we get Kyler Murray, whether Rodgers look, the draft's in Pittsburgh this year, guys. Let me give you guys come on. The draft is in our city. Let's make this good. I like that idea, Aaron. I don't know how possible that is, but I like your idea of the Steelers drafting up making a trade somewhere in the draft. So, yeah, you're right, but I appreciate, guys, if you're in here, go give a shout out to Aaron Loves Wrestling. Go check him out on YouTube. Go follow him on X. I don't know how possible that is, but I think, he's a great guy. He's a great guy, so you guys should go check him out. I don't understand teams who sign old, washed quarterbacks thinking it's going to help draft someone young and build a team around them. Yeah, and I'm going to talk about that right now, Aaron, because when I'm listening to the Pat McAfee show and Aaron Rodgers is talking about the future or whatever in Pittsburgh, he talks about Will Howard. And this is the small clip I will play you guys. This is Aaron Rodgers talking about Will Howard. And Aaron, you're 100% correct because I've been saying this for years. Now, I think we did try to do that after Big Ben retired. I think we tried to do that with Kenny Pickett, and we saw how that worked out. I think the Kenny Pickett experiment, Aaron, is the reason why the Steelers are scared to do exactly what you just said. But I agree, brother. Shout out to Aaron Loves Wrestling. Everybody go give him a follow, shout out. He supports us, and we're going to make sure we support him as well. But this is the small thing. We got to collab soon and talk football. My Cowboys and your Steelers with the offseason and free agency coming up. Aaron, I'm 100% down to do that, brother. Yeah, we gotta get a date, whether it's on your show, on your show, my show. You know, it can if it's on your show, I'll even multicast it on my platforms. We can definitely make that happen. Plus talk Pirates, Rangers, baseball, Stars, and Penguins hockey, dude. Anytime you want to talk sports, I'm down, brother. Like I said, we'll do it on your show. I'll multi-stream it from my end on my platforms. That way we're both live and we get the ball rolling. So we'll get that, brother. We'll get that going. You obviously were in the group chat. You had my DM. So hit me up on that. And yes, we'll definitely get that going. Guys, in the chat, me and Aaron Loves Wrestling. We're gonna talk about all these sports coming up soon. In the future, we did do a show on wrestling with me, him, and obviously Kev. We did, all three of us did do a panel on Aaron Loves Wrestling, talking about some wrestling stuff. So go check that video. I will link that video in the description at the end of the show on my YouTube channel. So you guys can go check that out. And guys, real quick before I keep going here, just play you guys that clip. I started this YouTube channel in December. I started uploading videos, and it is February 4th, and we already are at 47 subscribers and 65,000 total views, and we're going up every week. And I just want to say thank you guys, whether you're watching me on X, YouTube. I appreciate it. This is something that I just wanted to try out for the year. I'm gonna go consistent on the PGH Chris YouTube to see how that goes. So far it's been doing great. You guys have been showing a lot of support, and I very, very much appreciate it. And we're gonna keep the ball rolling right now. But this is Aaron Rodgers talking about Will Howard.
Mason Rudolph before. Mason's one of my favorite guys I ever played with. I mean, Mason got me through every single day. I mean, he is just hilarious. I mean, he's such.
That's what he says about Mason Rudolph.
So we had a blast, and then Will Howard, like, what a great young player. Just got the right moxie, the right personality, and loved working with him. And Skylar Thompson,
All right, pause, because I don't give a shit about Skylar Thompson. Will Howard is a great young player. Just the right moxie, the right personality. Loved working with him. The Steel City and Lone Star Sports Show name idea. Aaron, I like that. We'll definitely hit my DMs. Seriously, after I get off the live, we will talk about that. I do like that, and we'll definitely get that ball going. I am 100% down, brother. But Aaron Rodgers, now Will Howard, you're a great young player with the right moxie, the right personality. Loved working with him. First off, this is why, again, people respect Aaron Rodgers. Was the best part of having him in the locker room, I think, this season. Obviously, he's great, but this is a positive I liked about having him in the locker room was we never seen Mason Rudolph really give that same respect to Big Ben. And to see how Aaron Rodgers' leadership was just that 1 year, I think it's made a big impact on Mason Rudolph and Will Howard. I do think Will Howard ultimately is the future. Why do I say that? Well, I think we've seen what Mason Rudolph can do, both in Pittsburgh, Tennessee. We've seen what he can do, and no disrespect to him, it's not much. And I think you give a national championship winning quarterback, Will Howard, who, if you guys haven't watched him in college, he is like 6'1" and can run the ball very, very well. He throws the ball insane. I just think that there's no way the Steelers don't give him a look some way, somehow this season because he was supposed to get that big kind of impact start in training camp, and then he ended up getting hurt with a thumb injury or wrist injury that was in his throwing hand. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do think a lot of people are high on Will Howard. I think Will Howard has been impressive or not impressive, excuse me. Really high talked about throughout the entire year last year, even with him not playing. So I think I think it's interesting. But I just think when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, like I said, we got to stop having him dictate the decision of the quarterback position the last two off seasons because it's ridiculous. I'm sick of it. I don't know why that's always a thing. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on with that. What are some other things that he said besides my whole rant? He's just talking about how, he's a personal guy. Um, he did say in the beginning, if anyone's on here expecting to make some big decision, just turn it off, which we knew right away. Nobody was there. I should have known, or nobody was there to see him say anything important or a big announcement. I do think that at least me, were aware that this was going to happen. Oh, it's going to be the same shit as last year. And look what happened. So that's all I got from it. It was the same thing as last year. I just wanted to make that rant because that really, really got under my skin. I feel like this is going to be a long off season to where Aaron Rodgers is just going to come back again. We're going to make the playoffs and lose in one game out. I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you guys. That's ultimately what's gonna happen. But yeah, Aaron, I will check my DMs here in a few minutes. Here, I'm getting ready to go off the air. Dynamite starts in 2 hours, and I'll get ready to do my post show on the Sports Jedi Network immediately after Dynamite's off the air. Um, Aaron Rodgers is going to cut a promo. I'll never retire. Yeah, and he kind of brought something up like that too, Aaron, where it was like he wants to keep playing, and I think he's going to keep playing again because he wants to be a part of that good old reunion. He was talking to AJ Hawk and was like, AJ was like, well, the coaches, Mike McCarthy brought a couple guys from Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers was talking about how he wants to be, maybe he was getting me that vibe that he wants to be a part of that. So I think he will be. I think Aaron Rodgers will be a part of that, unfortunately, but he needs to make his decision quick. The Steelers got to put their big boy panties on and get the ball rolling with him. But guys, that was your Wednesday, March 4th edition of the PGH Chris Show on PGH Chris TV. Want to give a quick thank you again to our sponsor, G Fuel Energy. Use code PGHChris or go to gfuelenergy.com or gfuel.com/PGHChris for 20% off. Shout out to the Sports Jedi Network, obviously Dude Wipes and Blackout Coffee. Check me out again on the Sports Jedi Network tonight at immediately 10:15 immediately following AEW Dynamite for the post show. As a Cowboys fan, I despise Rodgers and the Packers. That Des Bryant caught it. Aaron, I agree with you. He did catch that ball. But make sure you guys catch me there after Dynamite is over. And there will be some videos uploaded here in the next couple of days and here on X as well about the combine, the draft. I was going to talk about the combine and the draft today, but Aaron Rodgers being on Pat McAfee changed the whole show around. So, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for being here. See you guys tonight for the post show on Sports Jedi Network.